Module 2. Understanding Civil and Criminal Law in Security. The private security industry operates within a framework of civil and criminal law that guides its responsibilities and limitations. Security personnel must understand the distinction between these two areas of law and how they apply to daily operations. This module explores the key legal principles relevant to private security, ensuring compliance and ethical conduct. The difference between civil and criminal law. Civil law. Civil law deals with disputes between individuals or organizations. It seeks to provide remedies, often in the form of compensation, to the aggrieved party. Examples relevant to security include trespass claims against unauthorized access, contractual disputes involving security service providers, negligence claims for failing to prevent foreseeable harm. Criminal law. Criminal law addresses offences against society, prosecuted by the state. It focuses on punishing offenders to deter unlawful behaviour. Security personnel are often involved in preventing and responding to criminal acts such as theft and burglary, assaults or violent conduct, vandalism or property damage. Key legislation relevant to security personnel. 1 Private Security Industry Act 2001. This act established the Security Industry Authority (SIA) to regulate security activities and enforce licensing requirements. Relevance. Security personnel must hold a valid license to operate legally. 2 Criminal Law Act 1967. This act allows any person, including security personnel, to use reasonable force to prevent crime or make a lawful arrest. Key principle. Force must be proportionate to the situation. 3 Data Protection Act 2018. This legislation governs the handling of personal data, including CCTV footage collected by security operatives. Relevance. Security personnel must ensure data is stored securely and used lawfully. 4 Equality Act 2010. The Equality Act prohibits discrimination based on protected characteristics such as race, gender, or disability. Relevance. Security personnel must apply policies fairly, such as those related to access control. Powers and limitations of security personnel. While security professionals play an important role in maintaining safety, their powers are limited compared to those of police officers. 1 Power of arrest. Security operatives have no more powers of arrest than a private citizen, which is known as a citizen's arrest. Conditions for arrest. The individual must be committing or have committed an indictable offence, e.g., theft, assault. The arresting security officer must call the police as soon as possible to handle the situation. 2 Use of force. The use of force must comply with the Criminal Law Act 1967, which permits reasonable force to prevent a crime or defend oneself or others. Excessive force can result in criminal charges or civil liability. 3 Searches. Security personnel can search individuals if it is part of an agreed policy, e.g., entry to a venue, but only with consent. Searches without consent may be considered assault or trespass under civil law. Common legal scenarios for security personnel. 1 Handling trespassers. Civil trespass. Entering private property without permission is a civil offence. Security personnel can ask trespassers to leave, but cannot forcibly remove them unless they refuse or pose a threat. Criminal trespass. Occurs in restricted areas such as railways or military zones. This is a criminal offence and requires police involvement. 2. Dealing with suspected shoplifters. Security personnel may detain individuals using a citizen's arrest, but must have reasonable grounds for suspicion. CCTV footage or eyewitness accounts are key to justifying such actions. 3. Managing crowd control. Security personnel must balance the need to ensure safety with compliance with the Equality Act 2010. For instance, policies must not unfairly discriminate against individuals based on appearance or nationality. Legal consequences of misconduct. Failure to adhere to legal principles can result in serious consequences, including criminal charges for excessive force or unlawful detention, civil claims for trespass or negligence, loss of license. Breaches of SIA standards may result in license suspension or revocation. Reputational damage. Organizations employing untrained or unethical security staff risk losing client trust. Ethical considerations in security roles. Legal compliance is closely tied to ethical behavior. Security personnel must act with integrity, avoiding any abuse of power, respect, treating individuals fairly and without bias, accountability, being transparent in actions and accepting responsibility for mistakes. Adhering to these principles enhances public trust and professionalism in the security industry. Summary. This module explored the legal framework guiding private security operations, focusing on civil and criminal law. Key takeaways include civil versus criminal law. Civil law addresses disputes, while criminal law focuses on offences against society. Key legislation: the Private Security Industry Act 2001, Criminal Law Act 1967, Data Protection Act 2018, and Equality Act 2010 are fundamental. Powers and limitations. Security personnel can make citizens' arrests and use reasonable force, but must act within the law. Common scenarios. Handling trespassers, detaining shoplifters, and managing crowds require a sound understanding of legal principles. Ethical conduct. Acting with integrity, respect, and accountability is essential for building trust and avoiding legal issues. Multiple choice questions.